Let's create a Caern. A little guide on how to create a Caern in Werewolf, the Apocalypse 5th edition. The first and most important detail is where do we want to create a Caern. Let's say that we have chosen an abandoned amusement park on the outskirts of town. Okay, now that the location has been picked, let's make a little story to cover the future Caern's background. Capricorn Amusements invested $95 million into Quest Amusement Park, just on the outskirts of Indianapolis, Indiana, in 1983. During construction, strange occurrences happened, slowing down construction and causing major delays. Once completed, even more strange activities began occurring. Rides would power up or power down on their own. Lights would flicker, sounds would play over the intercoms throughout the park, and other oddities that just snowballed over its first year of operation. Then a couple were seriously injured when a ride malfunctioned, and Capricorn was sued. Capricorn filed bankruptcy and the bank reclaimed the land. To this day, the bank has done nothing with the property, so it is just as it was left when Capricorn came in and cleared out all of their belongings. Today it is just a shell of what it once was. A few rusted-out rides and deteriorated buildings hidden behind a weed-covered parking lot, and several groups of trees. Children nearby used to come at night and check out the haunted amusement park, but now even those kids have mostly forgotten about the place. We have our Caern location and a little history of the location. Now the player characters have discovered the amusement park and discovered it as a lost Caern. The sept that they have come from have agreed to help with the rite of Caern building. The rite of Caern building must be performed in order to open a Caern. This is one of the most difficult rites to perform, as it takes several nights and a lot of work from all participants involved. I am not going to go into detail about how the ritual is performed, as with all rituals, each is performed differently depending on who is doing the ritual. The end result, once completed successfully, is that the player's pack has a Caern at Caern value 1. The player's pack must pay 5 experience to make the Caern value valid. Basically, you can't have something valuable for hard work alone. It still must be paid for. Now the player's pack has a level 1 Caern. Now what? With every level of the Caern, it can have a free Caern trait. These are found on pages 193 to 195 of the core book. These give perks and details to specialize the Caern. Everything from security to the ability to perform rites easier at the Caern can be located for purchase here. Many of these have rankings from 1 to 5 as well. So how does the pack purchase these higher ranks? That is a good question. Here is the experience chart. Just reading about Caern values, I would assume new level times 5 is the answer. So if the pack wanted to raise their Caern to level 2, it would cost them 10 experience. If they took 2 levels of Spirit Guardian for free, 1 for each value of the Caern, but they wanted a 3rd value of Spirit Guardian, that would cost them an additional 15 experience. So now the pack has their Caern. How do they maintain it? The answer depends on your story and what the pack already has invested. To start with, there are important rites needed for a Caern. Rite of Caern building. This is to start your Caern and increase the Caern value. Rite of the living Caern. This rite vitalizes a Caern to keep it thriving. Without performing this rite regularly, at least monthly, or the Caern will begin to degrade. Other rites that can be important. The rite of the whispering field. This rite attunes the participants to the surrounding area, making them acutely aware of every sight, smell, and sound that would betray a trespasser near your Caern. The rite of the shrouded glen. This rite is solely for the purpose of hiding your Caern from mundane individuals. Besides the rites, It is important to remember that the cairn will have to be cared for regularly. Keeping it clean, keeping shrines looking tidy, and keeping unwanted guests away. This is enough to keep a pack busy for several games. Guarding a cairn from spiritual attacks, protecting the born from mundane invasions, keeping the local spirits satisfied, as well as general pack business that will come up. If the pack must go into town to accomplish something, how long are they willing to leave their cairn undefended? One of the things from the older systems that I miss is the kinfolk. I understand their removal since the whole Garu gene thing has been removed, but they made a huge part in the aiding of Garu way of life. I substitute allies for kinfolk and have them know about the Garu and give them a job, such as watch over the cairn when pack must leave. The important thing is to give the pack the ability to leave for short periods of time safely, but not too long without threat of trouble. Okay, let's go over all the basic mechanics needed to begin a cairn in your game. To purchase a new cairn requires level of cairn times 5 in experience to pay for it. The rite of cairn building is also required to be performed. To raise the level of an existing cairn, the exact same procedure has to be preformed. The only difference is the difficulty of casting the rite. Players may buy merits, such as Awakened Cairn merit, and/or pool their experience together to purchase dots in Cairn rating or Cairn traits. For each point you have in Cairn rating, you gain 1 free Cairn trait, automatically. You may also purchase higher ratings in Cairn traits, or purchase additional Cairn traits at new level times 5. I hope that you enjoyed this video and were able to learn something new or possibly picked up an idea or two to try in your own games.